Okay, this is ChaYah Shalom, and I called a quick Zoom meeting because our special speaker that we had the other day, yesterday, Elvis, is going to come and answer some questions, hopefully, because, there is a lot of information out there, and I know all about mixing up the seed or mixing up the teaching, and we don't want to do that because there's different kinds of law. So we got to find out what kind of law. If we're going to go with consumer law or trust law, admiralty, maritime law, common law, all these different types of laws. So, hey, Mike, good to see you. All right, so Verum,
Hey,
Verum Juris, can you lead us out with maybe some of your concerns before we get Elvis to come on? Go ahead.
Sure. I guess like my biggest confusion is just what is right and what isn't, because there's tons of conflicting information out there. And I know in the first video that's on your YouTube, when he was on, he was touching upon not doing affidavits and a lot of just different things. So I guess my biggest question is like, where's the starting point? I mean, obviously reading up on like the laws and all of that stuff, but in terms of like actually sending stuff off, I guess is really my question, because I hear people send things through certified mail, but if you look at the law, anything that's a security needs to be sent registered mail.
I
I
agree
see
with that.
people endorse their bills with I I see people endorse their bills with stamps, like actual like, stamps, and I see people endorse their bills with just handwriting, which is kind of what Mansa went over in his class. I kind of followed along. I'll try and block out my information as best as I can. I tried to follow along as best as I could, with my internet bill here, but it's like what is right and what isn't in terms of actually endorsing these things and getting the remedy. I guess that's my biggest question. And I don't need someone to give me a template. I'm more than capable of reading myself. It's just there's so much conflicting information out there. What is right and what isn't?
I totally agree with you. And like I was saying, there's different kinds of law too. Mansa is going over consumer law. Now,
Hmm.
this guy Elvis,
I'd like to answer that question if I could.
go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
So, you know, I've been doing this for like over 5 years, and everybody that I've learned or that I thought I was learning from turned out to be full of shit.
Hmm.
Um, I'm done with all the patriot bullshit. Oh, Mike of the douchebag family, a man living on the land, blah 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 blah. you know, this kid. I mean, if you go to his Instagram, people are like raving about it, right? I mean, almost 3,000 people. You don't get 3,000 people on a Zoom if you're a bum. I don't think, right?
Hmm.
So the way you do it is, let me see, I don't have it in front of me, but best I can remember, no, actually, exactly as I remember, accepted for deposit, top center, right? Lower left or near the lower left, pay to the order of bearer or pay to the bearer.
And on
In the
demand
middle,
if it's late.
all right, well, okay, I'll go with that. And in the middle of the front of the bill is you write out the number of the dollars. So 900 NINE and 15 cents, 15 over 100, right? Then on the back, the endorsement part, we don't use script. We're printing by colon last name, comma, first name, hyphen, middle initial if you have it, / agent. Underneath that, for, colon, the all capital letter name, / principal. Underneath that, without recourse. I think that without recourse may be in parentheses. I got to go look at my
No,
example.
it wasn't.
That's it. That's it.
But then
I mean,
if it's a security or if it's a statement and that's considered a security, I don't know. I know it can be transferred to one, but that is supposed to be sent registered mail, not
say that again.
certified. Supposed to be sent registered mail, not certified.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And to
Absolutely
the
registered.
trustee or the CFO.
Oh.
And I put notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent. But I sent mine in a couple of days ago. I'm pretty sure they're not going to answer me back. This is the 4th time I sent it out. But this time I did send that letter that said about I'm ordering these instructions to transfer all rights, titles, interest to the principal account holder and to zero out the balance on the ledger. And
I didn't see that.
do this within 5 business days. And then there was another little clause about having this reoccurring every month because I don't want to be sending registered every month. Forget that. That's crazy.
I'll
And I
tell you,
did put a
ChaYah,
stamp. I put a $1 stamp on it
I
too.
would follow his directions explicitly.
That was his. That was his. That was his directions.
I wouldn't have added any of that stuff. I wouldn't have
That was
added
his.
that other.
Well, that was
I
his.
wouldn't have added
Anyways, I
any of
just
that.
got a message from, let's see, Elvis. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it. So he's not able to get inside the.
You're not coming in too good.
I'm not? Okay. Well, he gave me a message to say that he couldn't get in. I sent him a couple of times. It says incorrect meeting password. I'll just say try again, I guess. Anyways, is anybody else, since we're on here? I totally concur with you, Verum Juris. I concur with everything you said. Yeah, there is a lot of different directions out there. Ted, did you have anything to say? Test.
No, I'm just here to learn. I don't have any issues. I'm just trying to gain.
Okay. There's some other people here. If you want to, hey, Soldier for Yahweh, if you guys want to unmute, hopefully there's no background music or background noise. I'll let you guys unmute. And if you, hey, iPhone, who is that? All right, if you guys want to ask any questions or go over anything that you might have just recently learned. Well, according to Mansa, if they don't listen to those 3 administrative process letters and they don't answer us back, then we do have to sue. And I believe that he went over filing the federal claim versus your state claim. So someone in our group was saying that they
The
had
Bill of Exchange Act is federal.
Oh, nice.
The Bill of Exchange Act is federal, so that puts it under federal jurisdiction.
Perfect.
You can't come into a state court with a federal act
Oh,
to enforce your notes.
fantastic. That's good. That's perfect. Good. Well, we needed to hear that. So then he did go online, he Googled it, and then there was the form there. And just like Holly in his group, or his videos, she went ahead and filed that. And she said it was relatively easy. And of course, if we have our evidence, those 3 letters, and there was no response, then I believe that, I believe that you'll win. There's no response. because they didn't do their duty. And we did everything in good faith, you know. So, okay, well, let me see. Yeah.
Mike's got his hand up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. You want to say something, Mike? You want to unmute?
Oh, you got to unmute.
You want to unmute? You got to unmute your microphone. I don't know which one is you. Are you iPhone? Ask to unmute. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You got to unmute because we can't hear
You want?
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
start
muted.
over, Mike. We didn't hear any of that.
How about now?
Yeah,
we
you're
can
good now.
hear.
You're good now, brother.
Okay. All right. So ChaYah muted me, and I don't know how to unmute.
I don't think I did.
anyway,
Got
so yeah, you did because it was on the screen. It said host muted you. Anyway,
Oh,
so what I want to know is, and I'm probably
sorry about that.
overthinking this, but what is the contract that they breached? That's what I want to know, because once I have that, I'm gonna pretty much have the whole
Okay.
thing in my head.
I might have the answer for that. Truth in lending. First of all, they're not telling us the truth that we're the lenders because of that Title 26 from the IRS, Title 26, 7701. Mansa even showed that, and it said that the United States citizen is the lender. I just finished calling the car dealership, and I recorded them, and I shared it in my group. Anyways, that finance manager, he said, well, we are the lenders of the credit. I'm like, well, not exactly. According to Title 26, 7701, the United States.
Oh, speaking of which, I got a little story after this.
Okay, as long as it pertains.
I was gonna say after your
I'm done.
yeah, well, after your well, go on. Well,
Oh, he's gonna go.
Finish, then I'll go.
He says we have to get back with you, and because someone had come into, you could hear the squeak of the door shut, and someone came in, and all of a sudden he asked me for the phone number. Well, we'll have to get back with you because I told him that there was some violations, and that you know, the social security number and the name was gifted to their company. He goes, who gifted it? I go, well, unknowingly, it was on the application.
principal.
Unknowingly, it was on the application.
The principal gifted
I did go to the other car dealership before them, and on theirs it said, you're giving us power of attorney. And I'd crossed that off, and I go, really? So is that what we're doing? I think that's what we're doing. When we sign up for stuff, services, we are giving or gifting power of attorney. And so we unknowingly, because they're not
100%.
giving us truth in lending, so that's the breach. They're not giving us the truth in lending. They're not telling us. Okay.
All right,
Go ahead,
that makes
Mike.
sense.
Go ahead with your story.
That makes sense. So, so after the chick Holly was on, right? I said, well, I bank with Navy Federal, so why not, right? So I went to Navy Federal.
Mm-hmm.
I found the card she was talking about. I filled out the application, and 60 seconds later, you've been denied. So I called them up, and I guess I didn't have enough juice, but I'm gonna go back as soon as I do, right? So I said, well, I can't be denied my credit. It's my credit. It's not yours to give me. It's my credit. And I said some other shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, and they just stuck to their guns. They said, no, it's a private bank, blah, 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 blah. And, then I sent an email, on the Navy Federal site, and they wrote back with a line of crap, and then they sent me a letter, and I'm just going to address it once I have all my guns ready.
Mm-hmm. So you had a breach.
I mean, they can claim they're private all they want, but they're still Federal Reserve banks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they can say whatever they. Oh, go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it. It's just like I feel like depending on the type of employee that you're talking to, it's just literally going right over their head. And I feel like they're trained to just argue and, shut you down so that you don't, take interest in what's actually yours. Because a lot of people get told no and they're just like, well, I tried, and they're not going to keep
Right.
pursuing it.
Well, they told me the letter, what the hell's the letter say? I think I have it right here. Oh.
Huh.
No, wait a second.
Elvis is trying to get in still, and it's 22 minutes. It's only going to be like 10 minutes. We're going to have to click on
Okay,
this.
so here's the letter in case. Here's the letter. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So after careful consideration, we are unable to approve your application. In processing your application, we used a credit scoring system that assigns a numerical value to numerous items of consumer report information we consider in evaluating a member's credit worthiness. These numerical values are based upon the results of analysis of repayment histories, which I have to say aren't too good sometimes, and behaviors of large numbers of members. The system creates a proprietary Navy Federal credit score for each credit card applicant with consumer report information on file. After considering the score and other information in your application, we were unable to approve your application for the following reasons. Secured credit limit. In evaluating your application, the consumer reporting agency listed below, TransUnion, provide us with information that in whole or in part influenced our decision. The consumer reporting agency played no part in our decision and is unable to supply specific reasons why we have denied credit to you. You have a right under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Now, that was a heartfelt letter, wasn't it?
It's a
Okay,
standard
the letter gave you your recourse. Does the letter have any kind of account number on it anywhere to designate the account associated with the credit that was ran and their associated denial?
Well, it has application number.
There you go.
There you
That
go.
number is going to be important to you. That number is going to be important to you because that's the number that they used to associate to an account when they ran your credit and got the credits from your estate.
Ooh.
If what we're being told is true, if what we're being told by Mansa is true, and all the rest of these people out here that they run your credit and they tap your estate, well, then they attach it to an account. Nowhere in society, go to any bank, insurance company, anywhere, and try and open an account without depositing anything into the account. You can't open an account with a zero balance. You have to deposit something into it, and you are always the one making the deposit. If there's an account number, somebody made a deposit. Where did the deposit come from, and whose equity is that deposit consisting of? Yours. Now we need to figure out how to make the claim and use that number as the basis of your claim. You can identify where the funds ended up by that number. That's my thoughts
Wow.
based on all of
Oh.
Mansa's lives. I never took his classes, but I've watched all of his lives. I saw Holly and, the other ones. And, what little bit I've been gathering is that in order to go after the application, we got to be able to identify it somewhere.
Well, I'm gonna
Hey, Mike.
if anybody, yeah.
Okay, so remember what Holly did was that she said, I want to revoke my signature or revoke my application. You need to do that. That's what I said today to the car dealership on the phone.
That's what I did.
Boy, oh boy, did they say, well, we'll have to investigate this and we'll call you back, or whatever they said they're going to do. Because they probably already
Well,
sold
that's what I wrote to
the
them.
application. They got the money and then they sold the application and assigned it somewhere else. So you can ask for that back, and that's how she
That's
was
what we've been
Right.
told.
Yeah.
Right. That's yo. What's your name, man? What's that guy's name?
Ted.
Ted.
Ted. Nice meeting you, Ted. Great thinking. Really great thinking. Thank
Anytime,
you.
Mike. We're all in this together, just looking to figure out how to get a remedy against the people who are perpetrating a fraud and wanting us to just accept their BS and go away. And so, oh, okay, I tried, right?
Yep.
We tried. Well, we didn't get anywhere. Well, Mansa teaches that you got to be ready to take them to federal court. And in order to do that, you have to create the evidence, is what he was saying on one of those lives. Well, what is the evidence? You have to go at them in writing, not necessarily over the phone, because over the phone doesn't document anything for evidence in a court of law. You have to get them to send you a statement or an adverse action, I think he called it, some kind of denial. Well, Mike, you've got the letter with the denial, and you've got an associated number attached to the denial, which it identifies the account. So in my thinking, from what Mansa was teaching, we have to do some kind of 3-step administrative process, which would include a letter sending a notice to them, putting them on notice. That's a legal term. A notice that you're claiming the equity attached to that account, that you're asking for the equity to be returned to you in some form, whether it's crediting the card and sending the card to you for use, or somehow other getting the credits to you because they're your credits. And if not, like Holly said, then return my application to me with appropriate denials. You know what I mean? If when you tender an instrument to somebody under the UCC, they have to show you why they refused it, why they refused your tender. If your application was tender to finance an account, to credit an account, they have to disclose to you their reasons for denial of your tender or return your tender to you. Because if they don't return your tender under UCC, then they accepted it.
Right.
But you got to create the paper trail where they deny you and deny you and deny you, and you tried your 3-step administrative process, and you document that you gave them notice, that you came after them with notice of default, opportunity to cure, and then you have your evidence to go into court. That's what it seems to me that Mansa is saying. But I'm just here to learn. I don't have.
I could have sworn I heard Holly
evidence.
saying that she called. Can you call that number that they have on that letter? Call them and ask for your application back. Ask for your application back.
Holly said she called. And Holly
I called the Navy
that
Federal
they
number.
gave her. Holly said that they gave her the access to the loan team or some kind of team where. You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Holly called them, and there was some kind of team that they put her in contact with, and she did messaging over an app of some kind at Navy Federal to the loan department or the loan team, and they're the ones that approved her upon second review of her claim.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I did. I called Navy Federal.
Cool.
They told me, to go kick rocks. Then that's what they told me, right? Then I did what Holly did. I went to the Navy Federal website, and I initiated a communication on their private email thing there,
Good.
and I
Perfect.
addressed it all,
Right.
and
Right.
I said pretty much everything she said. Plus, I looked up the penalties for fraud, for security fraud, and I put all that in there. And then
Ooh.
at the end, I said, please reconsider or some kind of something like that, and they still said, kick bigger rocks, right? So, so this is great information. And also I want to say, and this is available for anybody here who has the correct equipment. If you have an Apple computer, I recorded the whole thing, and I will be happy to send you the whole webinar if you want to send me like a flash drive, that has at least 64 gigs on it. That's my offer.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Somebody else. That's somebody else's class. Anyways, okay, so we have about
Well, it's not
7.
copywritten, is it? Is it copywritten?
I don't know what you were referring to, but yeah. I'd like to change the subject if you don't mind. Is there somebody that's
Okay.
got something going on in the background over there? Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Our special guest was unable to get in on this particular Zoom, but it's possible that he might be able to get on another one, and I'll just have to set it up at another time. But this was kind of good for us to regroup and talk about some of the things that we learned, and keep us updated on, your process and how it goes. I already have the 4 letters I just sent out, registered with the stamp on it, like a actual, postage stamp. $1, because my bill was like $5,900. So I put this on for consideration, and I did not cross it off or initial it. That's the payment for the taxes. I'll keep you guys posted. Anyways, thanks for being here, you guys. Sorry that we didn't have our
Thank
special.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to make a suggestion real quick so you can stop running into problems on Zoom. If you make a Discord server and invite everyone to it, and we all join the same channel, we could all do the same thing, and you won't be like limited on time. Discord is like a really, really good tool. It might be a little bit of a learning curve if you've never used it before, but I've been using it for years, and I can definitely help you guys get acclimated with it. It's pretty much like, it's like Skype and Telegram had a kid, is like the best way I could put it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
I'd like to say something. I'd like
Yeah.
to say something else.
Okay, go ahead.
If any of you guys know anything about Linux, I'm getting a computer that's a Linux computer. I have no idea how to work it. It's being sent to me by somebody who bought 2 of them, and she has no idea what to do with it, right? So I said, well, send it to me. I'm going to work on it until I got it figured out, but I really have no idea how I'm going to do it. Every time I look for something,
There might be
information
an
about it.
instruction manual online. There might be an instruction manual.
Yeah, well, I tried to get on some websites that had some information, but the iPhone wouldn't allow it. So I'm gonna have to get a Me phone instead of an iPhone.
Maybe what
know?
you could do is chat GPT or Google Bard and have them print out a manual on it for you so you can read how to operate that.
All right. Well, thank you.
You can totally not go to libgen.is and find a book on it either. Totally don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
I don't even know what that is.
He's laughing.
He
Ted's
just gave you the sauce.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
say
right.
it again. Don't go where?
Don't go to libgen.is and definitely .is. And just look up Linux on there. Wiley has a book out called Linux for Dummies, like the For Dummies series. Not saying that you're a dummy, but like their Linux for Dummies series can be, found on there. Everything can be found on there. I definitely would recommend using a VPN to do that though, or your internet company will start sending you copyright notices. So
Okay, so that's libgen, libgen what?
.is.
That I'm not going to go to?
Yeah.
.is. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, and what's your name? Who are you?
My name is Tyler.
Hey, Tyler. How you doing? Nice
I'm good,
meeting you
man.
guys.
You
So
too.
what, there's only 4 of us here?
No, I was actually reading in the
No,
chat.
there's
only
a couple more.
Yeah, and Soldier for
Okay,
Yah
the
is
next,
also confirming. He says 12 USC 1431 says the banks are the borrowers. Yeah, because I did read that 12 USC. The very top line, it says that banks are the
Yeah, the very first
and
duty
they-
of the banks is to borrow money.
Mm-hmm.
and to pay the interest.
Mhm.
Hey, next one of these that you're gonna have, let me know like in advance, please.
Hey, I don't do that. It's only like minutes
You
before.
don't do it?
Right.
No.
Minutes before. We have to just be ready on our
Well,
toes.
that doesn't make any sense.
It does. I have my reasons. But
What?
anyways, we've got 2 minutes left, and I was just reading some of the stuff in the convo. Kevin says they listen to our convo all the time. This is why they say, hold on. They are telling them what to say. I agree. Like, are you referring to when I called a car dealership or maybe the bank people? I think so too. Yeah, because someone did come in the room and automatically the guy on the phone was like, we'll get your number and we'll call you back. Yeah, they totally listened to the conversation. I agree. Everything needs to be in legal size paper, period.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting, but it was really nice to meet some of you new people here. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again. And yeah, it would always be great to know in advance. For a couple of years, I had a set time on Friday night, but life happens. So it just seems like people, when they call me and the special speakers, they want it to have it like right now because they got a break in their schedule. That's kind of how we were trying to do for today. But yeah, normally I like to plan in advance. But if the other people say, hey, let's do this now, then hey, thanks, Carrie. All right. So I'll let you guys go, but
It's your Zoom, so you.
yeah, I know it is.
That's
But
right.
when other people are coming to speak,
You're the
ChaYah,
boss.
it's your.
I'm here. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
ChaYah, it's your Zoom. You call the shots.
Wow. I'm just the hostess.
You hear me?
I'm just the hostess. I'm just hosting.
Right. You're the right
I
with
was-
the mostest.
Oh, you're sweet. Thanks, Mike.
This
Thanks
is
for
this
reminding-
yo circus. We just the monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah.